Okay, so class, the topic that we are going to discuss today is the first topic of your syllabus, that is the electric flux. Okay, so let me open that topic first. But before going to the electric flux, we need to discuss Coulomb's law and the electric field because they all of them are related to each other. So I've prepared some slides. We'll go through them. So Coulomb's law, what does Coulomb law says that it says that when we have 2 point charges and the force between them is directly proportional, then the force between them is directly proportional to the product of the charges, product of magnitude of the charges, and inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. This is what is the directly proportional of the product of magnitude of charges, and this is the inversely proportional. And when we combine both of these proportionalities, then we'll get this thing. And to remove the proportionality, we have to include the sign of constant. This is called the constant of proportionality, and in this case the value of constant is 9 times 10 to the power 9. And the equation of constant is this, where it is says that k is equals to 1 by 4 pi e naught, where e naught is the permittivity of the medium between these charges. And suppose these are the charges, and the permittivity, it defines it is for the medium. Suppose in case of vacuum, the value of this permittivity will be different, and in case of an insulator it will be different. So it basically tells us that how much the medium is going to affect our force between of these charges. So this is that value. The effect of the medium on our force is basically known as permittivity. So this is our Coulomb's law, where we have two charges and the force between them is F equals K Q1 Q2 over R square. This is not R2, this is R square, R to the power 2. Okay. So moving on to the next uh, topic, that is electric field. So once we have the uh, suppose we have a charge, and in this case it is positive charge, then it will have a region around it in which it can exert its force on any other charged particle, and that region is known as electric field. And if we have a positive charge, then the electric field also has a direction. It is a vector quantity. So in case of positive charge, the electric field is the lines of electric fields are outward. It is coming out of the charge like this. And suppose if I had a negative charge, then the lines would be something like inward, and they will be like this. So electric field is a region around a charge in which the charge can exert its force on any other charged particle. So that is what an electric field is. So the formula for electric field is E equals F by Q. You can see here I've written down the definition for it. That is the charge, the region around a charge in which a charge can exert its force on any other charge. And this is the formula for electric field. There is a force per unit charge. Suppose we have any charge, and the force that it can exert is the electric field of that charge. So as we know that the force is also equal to k, F is equals to k q1 q2 over r square. This is coming from the Coulomb's law, and by replacing this force value into this equation, what we'll get is E equals k q over r square. And if you look into the book, they have also written the same thing. Let me see, where is that? Yeah, in the book it is the same thing, that force is this thing, and when we replace our electric field equation with the equation of force, then we'll come up to this thing, and we can cancel out the q's here, and we'll be left with E equals kq over r square. And this r that you see, that is a vector, unit vector for the electric field, because the electric field is a vector quantity, so we need an extra unit vector to define its direction. That is basically the purpose of placing the r vector here. You can name it any you can give it any name, maybe a or b, whatever suits you, but in this case they have given it r. So That is the concept of electric field. Moving on to the next topic, that is the representation of field lines. I've already explained you that in case of positive, the field lines are outward, and in case of negative, they are inward. Like if you can see here, they are, in case of positive, they are outward, and in case of negative charge, they are inward. Okay, so let's jump to the next topic. That is, we can skip it. It is not that important, and it's also not included in your syllabus. So our main topic for today is electric flux. I've also prepared a slide for it. So let me go through the slide first. So the electric flux, what is an electric flux? Suppose we have a charge here and it is placed near any surface. This is our surface. This thing is our surface. So we have a positive charge. So I've already told you that in case of positive charge, the electric field direction is outward of that charge. I mean, the field lines are coming out of the charge. So as they're coming out of the charge, they will pass through this surface like this. And as they're passing through the surface, then comes the concept of electric flux. So what does electric flux says? Electric flux says the number of field lines, the number of field lines passing through any surface is the electric flux. So electric flux, once we have the field lines that are crossing any surface, then we can say that there is a flux on that surface. Okay, so electric flux, the equation of electric flux is uh, phi equals the dot product of two vectors. That one, first one is the electric field vector and the other one is the area vector. So what is this area vector? So the area vector is just a vector that is perpendicular to the direction of the surface. Suppose in this case the direction of the surface is along the y-axis. As you can see, if I draw two of axes, okay, so this is my y-axis, this is my x-axis. So the surface is parallel to y-axis, so we can say that the surface is in the direction of y-axis. So what will be the area vector of this surface? It will be perpendicular to the surface direction. So in this case, what is perpendicular to the direction of surface? That is the x vector, oh sorry, the x axis. So we can say that the area vector will be along the x axis. Okay, so we have got the area vector that is along the x axis. We know our electric field that is also along the x axis. As you can see that the field lines are going in this direction. So so what is the angle between the area vector and the electric field? That is the angle zero, because both of them are in the same direction like this. E is this thing and the other one is the area vector, and both of them are making an angle of zero. And once we put our angle zero in our this equation, so basically when we have two vectors and they're having a dot product between them, so once we remove that dot product, we have to place the cos of theta as an addition. So this is basically a concept of dot product between two vectors. So suppose the electric field is also a unit, sorry, a vector quantity, and area vector is also a vector quantity, and they are having a dot product in case of electric flux. So to remove this dot product, we have to add the cos of theta as an addition. Okay, so this theta is basically the angle between the electric field, this electric field that is along the x-axis, and the area vector of this surface, which in this case is also along the x-axis. So if we only consider this scenario, then what is the angle between the electric field and the area vector? That is zero. Why that is zero? Because both of them are in the same direction. So once we place angle 0 in our equation, we'll end up here, and cos of 0 is 1, so we'll get the maximum flux. So we can say that when the electric field, when the direction of electric field and the direction of area vector is the same, so we can get the maximum flux. And in any other scenario, the flux will be less or it can be 0. And we can get the 0 flux when the angle between the electric field and the area vector is 90 degree. And this scenario for that will be, suppose Let's just say we have a surface that is along the x-axis. Okay, and again I have placed a charge here. Then the electric field of this charge will be along this direction, and in this case this surface is parallel to x-axis. Suppose if I draw my axis here, this axis, x-axis and y-axis, so you can see that the surface is parallel to x-axis. So the area vector of this surface will be perpendicular to x-axis. And what is perpendicular to x-axis? That is y-axis. So I can draw my area vector on this surface that will be along the y-axis. So this is my area vector for this surface, and I have the electric field vector that is along the x-axis. As you can see, it is along this direction, and the area vector is perpendicular to the surface, so I can draw it along the y-axis. So in our this scenario, the electric field is in this direction and the area vector is along y-axis. So what is the angle between them? That is angle 90. So we got the angle 90, and we have the equation, and we have the formula for electric flux. So I can just plug that 90 into this equation, and what I'll get is the flux of zero, because cos of 90 is zero. So that is basically the concept of electric flux. So it is the number of electric field lines passing through the surface, and is mostly dependent upon the angle between the area vector and the electric field of the charge.